All right. Hello, everyone. I am back with the overlay. TGW versus Simmons. This game taking place here on Shallow Grave version 1.5. Let's go ahead and get to that 2-minute mark. Altar of Elders, Ancient of War being placed down. Meanwhile, Altar of Darkness, Crypt. It will be a Death Knight going up against a Warden first. All right. Warden, well, a longtime hero of Terranistan, now making her debut. Well, probably not debut, but making an appearance here on Shallow Grave. Let's see what strategies she has to offer. All right, Coda and Crota hype going on. Oh, what a little bit of annoyance right there. The Acolyte getting taken down by a Forest Troll, axe to the back, denying that bit of experience, even though a Shadow Strike was offered. Alright, coming back through here, Death Knight has sold his Scroll of Town Portal, picked up a Rod of Necromancy, a Ritual Dagger, and now a Sacrificial Skull. Should be able to easily clear this place out. There's one detonation. A second detonation could be used to try and clear out the remaining Blight, and with that, all that Blight gone, well, no possible chance for a Ziggurat to be placed down. Alright, there is some Shadow Strikes going across here. Warden getting in a little bit of damage over time. Constant ticking as well. It looks as though, yep, that Death Knight going to be forced to retreat all the way back here as the Warden now goes after the ghouls as well. Coming back across here, what is the Death Knight and, well, all of these units going to be doing? Strategy might be changing. There's that Ritual Dagger, new Rod of Necromancy to be used, and perhaps a bit more creeping. Meanwhile, the Warden, alongside two archers, perhaps going to try and keep this unit in check here. Wisps actually getting into a little bit of trouble here. Death Knight going to once again lose that very, very important regeneration, as Wisps are now making their way over. We're going to see a detonation. We do again, and once more, well, another Dark Ritual used, another Sacrificial Skull used again, as we may see another Wisp. All right, quick attack on that Wisp, followed by a Death Coil, easy 1-2 shot. There is a beautiful deny once again onto a Shadow Strike Ghoul, as both sides are continuing to fight. Going after this Sasquatch here, are we perhaps going to go for a surround? It doesn't make sense since it is nightfall already, as the Death Knight gets to level 2 with a Death Coil. All right. Death Knight, level 2 Death Coil, spending that extra bit of mana to know that once he has Unholy Aura, perhaps can catch up and surround and ensure another kill on an Archer. Archer is going to be able to Shadow Meld in time. It is not. So a great follow-up play right there. All right. Warden, what does it hope to do? Warden does have a decent bit of mana. Death Knight, well, once more bringing in some more Acolytes. Tech to Tier 2 has not been started here. Meanwhile, Tech to Tier 2 more than halfway done, as a lot of Wisps have been lost in this battle. Do remember this. A lot of Wisps have been lost. There is a Warden right there, perhaps trying to get the last hit, last Shadow Strike on that Sasquatch, get that bit of experience. Instead, goes after a Ghoul instead. Who's going to get the experience? The Death Knight's going to get the experience, as a Ziggurat is now being summoned up. All right. Let's take a look. Repairs on this Ancient of War. Triple Archers trying to go after this Forest Troll Warlord. Warden now trying to retreat back here. Death Knight perhaps going to buy Boots of Speed and now simply outrun that Warden. Is the Warden going to also be buying Boots of Speed as well? If you remember, this is something that was changed long ago, where there's actually 2 Boots of Speed at a shop because of how important those Boots of Speed are. All right, Forest Troll Berserker also being trained up here. Forest Troll Shadow Priest there as well. Are we going to see some Abolish Magics? Ancient of War needs to get some repairs off. There's an Abolish Magic. There goes another Archer, as damage is still racking up here. A couple of Wisps off to the side. Shadow Strike going to find a Ghoul, and now level 3 on the Warden. Level 2 Shadow Strike is now offered on the table. Perhaps that Death Knight going to be taking even more damage, as an Archer trying to get away. Archer unable to get away, but the Death Knight once again takes another Shadow Strike in the back, and the Warden is going to be trying to chase down that target. All right, another Shadow Strike is going to be inbound. There's another 150 damage, 30 damage per couple of seconds, but I think it only comes down to 20 because of that magic resistance. There's the Death Knight. Death Knight does get taken out by back-to-back-to-back Shadow Strikes. All right, TGW has been doing quite a bit of damage here. Now going after this haunted gold mine, trying to shut it down before it gets operational. Ziggurat is here as well, as we're looking at, well, the Tree of Life coming across to, well, try and clear out this creep camp as well. Is the Warden going to be able to back away? That is the question. Or is the haunted gold mine going to get completed? All right, Warden down to 133 hit points, may be forced to, well, teleport away here, as there is that staff of teleportation now down to 47 hit points, teleports back home, and now should be able to heal up from these moonwells. All right, haunted gold mine looking perfectly fine. Tree of Life and Ancient of War has made their way over to this location here to try and, well, clear up this expansion and perhaps set up an expansion of their own. Warden wants to close in onto that ghoul. 2 more shots, 1 more shot is needed as the Warden gets another kill again. Meanwhile, Death Knight, sitting at level 2, does have invisibility, so is running down with invisibility perhaps to try and clear out things here. Ring of Regeneration, nice pickup there, and now level 3 on the Death Knight could perhaps easily kill this Forest Troll Shadow Priest and perhaps go after more units. There's a Death Coil, there's a kill, there goes another unit. Skeletal minions now popping up out of the woodwork as the Warden is now trying to perhaps push inside the base. A lot of action all across the map here as the Death Knight, well, down to 35 mana, hasn't been able to kill off any additional units. More battling it up as the Moonwells are now bone dry. Remember that Warden did teleport back earlier. Warden gets up to level 4, level 2, Blink. There's the Nerubian Tower. There's a Blink behind enemy lines. There's a Shadow Strike, and now the Acolytes could be in trouble. No hunt or no mining of the gold mine here now, as the Warden is still fighting its way through. There goes another, as every Acolyte that is lost is going to be a bit of lost mining time, because we are still looking at, we are still looking at that necropolis upgrading to that Halls of the Dead. Forest Troll Shadow Priest trying to retreat back here. Warden now inbound from the north. Perhaps we're going to see that Mud Golem get taken down. Yes, we are. TGW now looking to clear out the remainder of this creep camp. No, going straight after the Death Knight instead. The Death Knight now down to 400 some odd hit points. The Warden has plenty of mana. Are we going to see a detonation or something here? What is happening? There's another Shadow Strike. Wisp should go for a detonation. No, goes for the body block. And now the Death Knight going to be able to get away at 108 hit points. Death Knight teleports back home. Well, kills a quick raccoon there. Raccoony, as the Death Knight healing up back at home. 1 Acolyte gone here. Going to train up a new Acolyte. Meanwhile, the Expo is up and running. Any thought about the Saudi sport watching attempts via hosting and sponsoring the Esports World Cup? I need to read up on that. I was traveling for work for a long time, so haven't been able to keep up with all things esports. So yeah, I'll definitely take a look at that and get some thoughts. All right, anyways, Warden, Death Coil onto the Warden. Warden being forced to retreat back again. Ancient of War once more taking quite a bit of damage. Ogre Mauler, well, is going to be in a little bit of trouble if this Ancient of War loses aggro. This Ancient of War going to be in some big problems here. The Ogre Mauler down to 29 hit points now. Ancient of War gets taken down. Ogre Mauler could get taken down as well. Is the Skeletal Minion going to get it? Yes, I believe the Skeletal Minion got that kill there. Death Knight now very close to level 4, as the Warden sits at 4, getting closer to level 5. We are at Tree of Ages, taking the Tree of Eternity. We're looking at a solo hero from the Night Elf. Meanwhile, Lich is now out on the battlefield. That Warden is going to be able to get to level 5 quickly with that 15% experience boost while at tier 2, and then 30% experience boost while at tier 3. Mobile games getting more prize money than LOL or... Wow. Well, I'm not surprised that mobile games are starting to get more and more prize money. Mobile games really are just, yeah, an unfortunate for us who really enjoy hardcore games or the keyboard and mouse experience. Well, not everyone has the opportunity to sit in front of a keyboard and mouse, and it's harder to be social, bringing your actual keyboard somewhere else. Mobile phones, well, just another way to do it. Anyways, Dryad's trying to poke apart the gargoyles. Death Knight gonna kill that Forest Troll Berserker. There's a Shadow Strike onto a gargoyle there. Gargoyle able to, well, retreat back, and now using Shadow Strike to deal with the gargoyles, as the, well, Warden does need to pick up an Orb of Venom once Tier 3 is reached. The Warden needs a way to be able to attack air. Meanwhile, those gargoyles going after more creep camps again. Death Knight is at 4. Lich will be getting to level, getting to level 2. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe Blizzard saying what you don't have phones was actually a sign and prediction of the times, and trying to pivot into a good marketing or good platform. No, I will not say that. Death Knight, Lich, Gargoyles still wandering around there. Meanwhile, we're looking at the Ancient of War absorbing quite a bit of damage. Big Fan of Knives, a book of retraining to go from Shadow Strike to Fan of Knives to help deal with all of those units. Ancient of War now being backed away, doesn't want to take too much damage either, as the Forest Troll Berserkers are going to get cleaned up. Now, this opportunity by SIMMONS to clear or continue to gain more experience on the heroes, while, well, the Warden's at level 5. And what's this? TGW doing a strategy that I had talked about in the past, but never thought it would come to fruition. Get your primary hero up to level 5, and then have it be a harassment-based hero. Then get a second hero and try to get it up to level 3. That extra additional experience while, well, trying to contain your opponent, since that level 5 hero cannot gain any more experience. Alright, quick Death Coil there. Alright, in comes the Warden. Warden gonna go ahead and throw a Fan of Knives down, and now currently Shadow Melded. Gonna try and do it again here. Units are retreating back, low hit point units, as the Warden is gonna go ahead and do another Fan of Knives, trying to pick off more and more units. There's a Death Coil onto the Lich, as the Warden needs to back away. But this is importantly buying time for the Brewmaster to gain experience alongside this army. What is the Warden doing here? The Warden trying to go ahead and Fan of Knives, actually may take some of that precious experience away from the Brewmaster, as we see Rune Bracers now onto that Brewmaster. Alright, Breath of Fire could go back around. There goes a Dryad. Are we going to see another Fan of Knives? Obsidian Statue trying to heal up quite a bit as well. Brewmaster could turn around, get a good Breath of Fire off. No, Drunken Haze on the Gargoyles. Hence the slower movement, as the, well, Druid of the Claw is out here on the battlefield now, perhaps going to get for a rejuvenation. Warden, a bit low on mana, gonna go ahead and teleport back home, try and get a good amount of mana. We see mana regeneration happening here with the increased Moonwell Blessing, as the Death Knight and the Lich are now trying to get to, well, level 3 on the Lich and eventual level 5 on that Death Knight. That Panda really does need to get to level 2 for Breath of Fire, if not level 3 for level 2 Breath of Fire, to deal with that army. Meanwhile, the Warden off to the north, quickly clearing out, or checking that there is no one clearing out that top right-hand side of the map. Death Knight not going to gain that much experience, but is currently not being bothered at all. Are we going to be looking at, well, a very slow Ancient of War trying to make its way out across the map. TGW trying to clear out these creep camps as quickly as possible. And this is a problem for TGW. TGW doesn't know where SIMMONS is. And with that, this Panda could at any point just be lost. Laboratory reveals the bottom left-hand side. And, well, SIMMONS is just playing at a very high level. It's just constantly causing problems. Are we going to see another Fan of Knives? Perhaps a blink over here. Fan of Knives finish off all the Acolytes. Well, no. We're not going to see. There's a blink. There's a Fan of Knives finishing off more of those units. Ghouls are going to get taken down as well. Meanwhile, back across over here, Panda does get to level 2, able to use the Scroll of Town Portal to get out of a dicey spot. There's a blink. There's another Fan of Knives. All the Acolytes and a couple of Ghouls lost as the Warden teleports back home. Alright, Ancient of War getting caught out in open field. 59 supply compared to 48. TGW has a good amount of gold in the bank. Meanwhile, SIMMONS has the supply lead. There's a blink across all of those units there. Panda, well, anti-magic potion, well, perhaps to try and protect itself from Well, the Death Coil Frost Nova, Ancient of Wonder, is going to easily get taken down. Warden needed to use that, needed the anti-magic potion more than anything, as we now see a couple of hippogriffs in the air as well. Both sides continuing the fight. Warden going to try and blink across all of these units. There's another fan of knives there, but the obsidian statues, and 3 of them, importantly, are going to be able to provide enough mana and hit points for this large go-wide army. Even though the Fan of Knives is hitting multiple units, north of a dozen, the Obsidian statues, because they are backing each other up, should not run out of mana. And it really will come down to whether or not this Panda can get to level 3 quickly enough. That has been the problem as the Warden now tries to make its way back over. There is another, well, Fan of Knives there. All right, it looks as no Ritual Dagger being used as well for more regeneration. There's a Breath of Fire, and as a couple of gargoyles could get taken out, and up to level 4 now on the Lich, level 5 now on the Death Knight, as the units are trying to retreat back. Panda still in the far back here, wishing he was level 3, unable to do that, as we see healing wards, well, still providing plenty of regeneration. There, are we going to see a Breath of Fire here? There goes one bear. A Breath of Fire going across here, warding, and perhaps going to try and engage again. Are we going to see another Fan of Knives? We are, but there just hasn't really been deaths by any real losses by SIMMONS yet, as another Druid of the Claw gets taken down. You can see that this Brewmaster has perhaps gotten a little bit of experience, but not very much, as another Druid of the Claw gonna get cleaned up. 65 supply compared to 35. The Warden unable to get the necessary kills. Anti-magic potion protecting from a Death Coil Frost Nova death, but cannot protect against the damage that these gargoyles are doing. All right, Warden looking to, well, finish off these units. Has not been able to still after all this time. Perhaps the healing wards providing so much additional hit points, causing problems. There's another Fan of Knives. Warden being forced to back away now, down to 190 hit points, as we see the gargoyles trying to stay close. The obsidian statues, as you can see, are starting to lose a bit of mana. Ankh of Reincarnation, the Warden is going to be back, but that gives time for Death Coil Frost Nova to be back here as well. Brewmaster does get up to level 3 after all this time there, as the Warden is able to escape. All right. Back and forth this game goes. Warden also sitting at level 5. And this is another thing to consider. The Warden is a hero that needs corpses, and there are no corpses available on the battlefield unless you are losing dryads to get those spirits of vengeance. Gargoyles do not provide corpses, so the avatar of vengeance is not going to be nearly as powerful. Also, I think I've been seeing SIMMONS going around. Well, nope, he hasn't killed that critter and then used Rod of Necromancy. There's a big Fan of Knives there. Warden trying to back away. There's a Death Coil as well. Rejuvenation to, and, well, Clarity Potion, and now an Anti-Magic Potion again. Gargoyles on the move. Meanwhile, bottom left-hand side of the map, Forest Troll Berserker was not cleared out. That Acolyte, perhaps trying to summon and haunt that gold mine, quickly finds out, well, it's not quite clear. Wow, there's a lot of critters on this map. 1, 2, 3. So perhaps the critters are going to turn into spirits of vengeance, unless SIMMONS starts clearing them out and then trying to use Rod of Necromancy and Dark Ritual. Oh, nope, no Dark Ritual, just Frost Armor. All right. Army is going to engage Druids of the Claw on the ground. Rejuvenation, but they're not going to be able to do very much. Hippogriff. What would actually be quite interesting is if there was a Keeper of the Grove and then Thorns Aura. So if you have Thorns Aura, the gargoyles dealing 63 to 90 damage, that Thorns Aura would actually reflect back against those hippogriffs quite quickly. All right, there's a little bit of damage there. Oh, Goblin Alchemist. All right, so Fan of Knives, Drunken Haze, Breath of Fire, Goblin Alchemist as the attacker, and this is going to be with Acid Bomb to try and remove some of that additional armor provided by that Scroll of Protection. Dryad's getting cleared up. Death Knight gets up to level 5. Hippogriffs are joining in on the battle. There's a Breath of Fire. Goblin Alchemist gets taken down as, well, well, perhaps we're going to see another fan of knives here in just a second. Lich trying to back away. Deathcoil going to go ahead and save here. Panda has enough for another breath of fire. Are we going to see this? A breath of fire blowing things over again as the Avatar of Vengeance is out. But as I said, without a lot of corpses, it is going to be quite difficult to actually get plenty of Spirit of Vengeances to actually do something. All right, Warden could be in a little bit of trouble. Gonna try and head over to these Moonwells, perhaps turn back, fight around again. There's that Spirit of Vengeance. The Spirit of Vengeance is diving in onto the Obsidian Statues. The Obsidian Statues could get cleared out quickly, and then suddenly the damage is gonna stick on these Gargoyles for a long time. Meanwhile, the Warden gonna go ahead and get off perhaps another Fan of Knives. Brewmaster could get another Breath of Fire off. There's another Breath of Fire trying to stay alive here. Anti-Magic Potion keeping him alive temporarily as the Wisp are gone. Down goes the Panda. Panda now in some serious trouble as the Goblin Alchemist is now back out here onto the battlefield. All right, there goes one, there goes two Gargoyles quickly getting cleaned up as an Obsidian Statue is going to have, nope, does not get chased down here. All right, not quite sure what is going on here. Death Knight, Lich, Frost Nova, Deathcoil could be inbound. Death Knight has the mana and, well, finishes off that Druid of the Claw. Clarity Potion by the Warden, slowly regenerating mana. Panda getting resurrected at the Altar of Elders. Goblin Alchemist still out here on the battlefield. Another hero that can attack the air naturally with a good AoE ability. Who would have thought solo? It looked like a solo Warden strategy into Panda and Goblin Alchemist as the Warden wants to check the bottom left-hand side of the map and sees that there is nothing going on here except for a Tome of Knowledge, which she'll gladly pick up. Alright, one Spirit of Vengeance and one Avatar of Vengeance is not going to be enough to clear out that top right. Goblin Alchemist, Druid of the Claw perhaps should actually make their way on over there and perhaps try and clear out that location, gain a little bit of experience to not be as weak to, weak to Deathcoil Frost Nova. I will say, out of all of the heroes to choose, the Goblin Alchemist perhaps one of the best ones to go for a third and final hero against late game undead. 725 hit points at level 1 and doesn't have much armor, but you're really more concerned about Deathcoil Frost Nova than anything else. Alright, Acolyte is going to get taken down. Yes, Acolyte gets taken out here. Ogre Magi gonna try and engage once more. Druid of the Claw, there's a rejuvenation on the Avatar of Vengeance. The Avatar of Vengeance is not long for this world though. Time Life is not going to keep it around for very, very long. Meanwhile, alright, Goblin Alchemist trying to teleport away. There's a rejuvenation on the Druid of the Claw. Units are trying to retreat back. That one Druid of the Claw down to 140 hit points and will be down to dead already. 49 supply compared to 36. Who has more gold? Who has the larger army? And SIMMONS sitting at 49 supply now with 1,000 gold in the bank, purposely not going into upkeep. Meanwhile, the Warden is hiding off here on the side, perhaps going to try and blink. There's a Fan of Knives, and gonna go ahead and just shadow meld. Meanwhile, the Death Knight has picked up Cloak of Flames, a big ability there. Are we going to see another Fan of Knives? We are, and now the Warden could be in trouble, down to 216 hit points. Going to go ahead and blink back again, down to 195 hit points. There's going to be a rejuvenation. Needs to wait off on the drinking from that Moonwell until the rejuvenation is done. Otherwise, not going to have enough mana for the upcoming fight, as we see a big, another Moonstone being used, just trying to constantly keep these Moonwells nicely topped off. All right, another rejuvenation there. Gonna drink some Moonwells once back at full hit points, and then push with these 3 heroes. Bottom left, Acolyte still has, we still know that Forest Troll Berserker is there. Meanwhile, on the top right, Forest Troll Berserker and Forest Troll Shadow Priest are still available. And we're looking at a couple of full Moonwells back at home if they do need to be recharged. Tree of Eternity already marching off to the north here. 63 supply compared to TGW's 50. TGW wants to quickly clear out this creep camp and, entangle and get gold gold from here. Avatar of Vengeance actually has a couple of corpses to use, so this is going to be helpful. There's still 4 Troll Shadow Priests there. All right, what are the units going to try and do there? Avatar of Vengeance, Tree of Eternity, the Alchemist, and the Brewmaster making the slow trek over. All right, after all that fast-paced play, it seems like this game has, well, slowed down quite a bit. Each player going back to their respective corner. Brewmaster sitting at level 4 now. Tree of Eternity going to entangle this gold mine. Wisp should be on their way, or moving up on their way to try and get to another gold mine there. Gargoyles. Well, regenerating gargoyles while on Blight. That's got to be some of the fastest regeneration you've ever seen. While in stone form, fast regeneration on Blight with Unholy Aura. Yeah, that's fast. Let's just say that's fast. I don't even know how fast it is, but yes, it's fast. All right. Acolyte making its way over to the top right. We'll see that there's a Tree of Eternity there. Ancient Protector currently being, well, being constructed. Wisps waiting to jump inside that gold mine. Only about 3 minutes of mining left here. A minute of mining left here as the, well, Warden dives in. There's a quick fan of knives, and now may need to try and dive out. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability could be used. No, quickly just blinks away instead. Orb of Corruption, negative armor, all of that jazz there. All right. Meanwhile, new Ancient Protector being placed down. We're going to be looking at this gold mine currently not fully saturated, but close enough. Coming back across, Death Knight. Double Scrolls of Healing, Scroll of Protection to try and finish this battle. That initial burst is going to be absolutely huge as the Death Knight going to turn around the corner here. Meanwhile, we do have Roar on the Hippogriffs, so that's going to be a big damage bonus. Warden getting +3 damage bonus as well. Alchemist, Ancient of Wonders, Ancient Protector are off here. And the fact that this one Forest Troll Berserker hasn't been cleared out is just odd, as the Acolyte should be trying to haunt and summon this gold mine as a little bit of a follow-up play. But everything all in here now, going to try and engage. Hippogriffs are going to be ready. There is a blink, fan of knives, little bit of damage, nothing to really slow down the attack. There's a breath of fire. Dryad's going to get focused down as we're seeing both sides poking and pecking their way through. Hippogriffs getting cleaned up as the gargoyles alongside a bunch of obsidian statues really able to heal up a lot of that damage. All right, Chemical Raging Alchemist getting caught in the back corner. Going to go ahead and teleport back home here. Needs to somehow get back into this fight. Meanwhile, Potion of Invulnerability. There's a Breath of Fire trying to blow things across again. Warden is still in this fight here, trying to, well, finish things off, but doesn't have enough mana to do anything. Panda gets taken down, falls at level 4 as the Warden is trying to finish off all of these individual units. Goblin Alchemist, well, has been back at home. There's a teleportation here. She's going to go ahead and head back home, perhaps drink from some Moonwells, and then rejoin in on the battle. Meanwhile, the Tree of Eternity is now no longer has any support and is taking quite a bit of damage. Animate dead. Druids of the Claw are here to try and get some normal damage into the battle to try and take things out. Ancient of Wonders about to get taken down as in comes the Goblin Alchemist. All right, Death Coil, Frost Nova onto the Chemical Raging Goblin Alchemist. Warden down to 720 hit points, going to blink back. The Ancient Protector still, while trying to take down these units, going to go after the Obsidian statues in the back portion here, as they are going to get slowly repaired over time. Warden perhaps going to try and make its way back across here, get another fan of knives, but the Obsidian statues still there, providing a bit of cover. I do not, Panda is getting resurrected, so we still have a little bit of time for the Panda to perhaps make a presence. Level 2 Breath of Fire to start blowing things over. As you can see, this war of attrition is starting to take a toll onto the hit points of these gargoyles. One more big fan of knives could do it, and there's no more, or there's still one more scroll of healing as well. All right, units still looking to back up again. This Tree of Eternity taking quite a bit of damage. It will eventually fall. Meanwhile, the Goblin Alchemist trying to make its way back off to the north. Are we going to see any additional heals? No, the Warden perhaps getting frosted or cold, taking cold damage by that Frost Nova, as the Tree of Life here now going to make his way off to the north. All right. Couple of empty moon wells, perhaps a clarity potion on the Warden could be useful. Rejuvenation also useful here. Units are going to try and engage. TGW, however, does have the army supply advantage, 48 compared to 47, even after all of the wisps are lost. So we have a couple of hippogriffs, we have the Warden, we have the clarity potion being used. Boots of Crota lost there. Brewmaster is also out. He is using up a clarity potion, and this could be the difference. All right, Goblin Shredder actually being brought over here to clear out this Forest Troll Berserker, and then to perhaps haunt this gold mine. SIMMONS not using the opportunity well to set up this haunted gold mine. There's a couple of acolytes back at home and not doing anything. And how is this going to perhaps all unfold? There's a quick detonation there. Warden looking to finish things off. There's a blink. There's a fan of knives as the gargoyles are being forced to back away. Frost Nova onto the hippogriffs. That's going to slow them down quite a bit as the Tree of Life makes his way perhaps off to the north, trying to set up a new expo, or reestablish up that expo. All right, another clarity potion by the Warden. Avatar of Vengeance still has plenty of time to go. Warden's going to be at full mana in just a second. Needs something else. Needs a survivability. An anti-magic potion may have actually been better. Anti-magic potion to absorb a Death Coil Frost Nova and still perhaps get off a second fan of knives. A little bit of overflow mana there. There's a fan of knives blinking on to that army of gargoyles, and we're going to be looking at another fight and an engagement there. All right, are we going to see a Frost Nova onto all of those hippogriffs? Yes, we do. They're going to see another fan of knives. Yes, we do, but it doesn't hit many of the gargoyles. Panda going to try to come back over. There's a Death Coil, or sorry, excuse me, a Death Coil and a Breath of Fire. Lich could be in a little bit of trouble. Both sides are fighting their way through again, trying to go after all of these units. Level 7 now on the Warden. That could be level 3 Blink, and level 3 Blink is an extremely fast cooldown. Warden still trying to, well, carry this team on her back here, trying to go after all of these units. Meanwhile, Panda, does he have another Breath of Fire in the tank? He does. And, well, a bunch of gargoyles are just getting cleaned up. There's another Breath of Fire dropping down to 22 supply. And suddenly, SIMMONS drops in supply down to 20 after the AoE is enough to clear the skies. The gargoyles, at one point having north of 70 supply compared to 50, unable to carry the game to victory and fruition. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below. Yeah, TGW with the lower score, but overall wins. You can see SIMMONS actually had the higher unit score, had the higher hero score, but had the lower resource score there. That was the only difference. Perhaps enough clarity potions and anti-magic potions on the heroes was the difference. Yeah, perseverance and grit, sticking it around for that long.